Okay, Rach, are you ready to go?
Yes.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
No, aren't you supposed to be running the show? Which guest have we got?
Don't make me the boss of stuff.
You're the boss of stuff.
Let's wing it.
And go.
Hi, welcome to the This Is My Voice podcast.
The podcast where we discuss all things voice performance and talk to some of the industry's best and brightest talent.
We're your hosts, Rachel Salas.
And Eddie Bye.
Eddie, we've got a lot of guests today.
Have we? Hang on. I thought we only had one.
Well, we've got a world-class impressionist on the show today.
Ah, good. Yes, okay. I like this. So who does he voice?
Well, why don't we ask him?
Jim, welcome.
G'day. Hello there. This is Jim Meskimen from Los Angeles.
And also Patrick Stewart. And Tommy Lee Jones and Billy Bob Thornton, as long as we're at it. And also Sam Elliott. I don't know if my voice will carry all the way down under like that, but here I am.
Oh, brilliant.
That's so good.
Welcome, Jim. Great to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
So you've got a unique career. For those who aren't familiar with who you are and the work you've done, can you tell us a bit about your story?
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm lucky enough to be the son of a working actress who became quite iconic to TV viewers, Marion Ross, who played Mrs. Cunningham, Marion Cunningham on Happy Days, which is fewer and fewer people remember that show anymore, but it was very, very big in its time and certainly launched a lot of careers, including the young Ron Howard, who became a director, who I've worked for on 5 of his pictures. And so I grew up in a kind of a strange household because it was a struggling household. My mother was a single mom, my sister and I, raising 2 kids. And it wasn't until, I was about 12 or 13 that she began to have a little more stability with this new show. And then the show, Happy Days, slowly rose to prominence. Very slowly, and then she became basically this kind of iconic character. So I mostly remember a life with her of struggle and the kind of activities that I'm involved in: auditioning, taking meetings, doing guest spots on TV shows. By the way, I should say I'm on Landman, which is a big hit for Paramount Plus. I play a lawyer named Alan. And I've had various run-ins with Billy Bob Thornton and Demi Moore. And so she had the kind of life that I have of struggle and looking for work and never quite, just trying to get a good opportunity and get known and stay in the game. And eventually she won. She won the game and has been beloved ever since. She's 98 years old now, retired, obviously, and enjoying her retirement a lot. So I came from a background of painting and drawing, actually, as my first career. That was my first goal for myself, was to be a professional. And I became a professional to some degree as an illustrator, cartoonist. And then I studied painting as well. And I lived in Spain, and I worked very hard at it. And then I had an epiphany one day after meeting the actor Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel, we met on the streets of Madrid. This was back in 1983. And I realized that I really was more interested in a life that was social, an artistic life that had to do with a lot of other people. And so I made my decision to be an actor, moved to New York, and started my acting career. And a lot of it has been propelled by my ability to do impressions, because what was just simple activity in my household growing up, doing impressions was just coin of the realm. But out in the wide world, there are fewer of us. So that's a kind of a quick brush through.
You've had such a unique career. You've dabbled in so much. What has been the most important experience to you as an entertainer?
The most important experience? I don't think any of it's very important. I'm an entertainer. I'm a storyteller. I'm a guy who helps people out. There have been very significant moments in my life, certain significant turns of events, like when I got hired to do character design for the early Thundercats animated TV show that a lot of people still remember with fondness. That happened in a quite happenstance manner, but it helped keep me in New York and helped me to get my first really good voiceover job for Rankin Bass on an animated series. And I've had a lot of lucky breaks. I've been a very, very fortunate guy. I've been married for 38 years to the same fantastic woman, Tamara, who I met in high school. We didn't go out or anything in high school, but we knew the same people. We were in a play together. And that was a real lucky break because she's turned out to be amazing. And we have a beautiful daughter. That was a lucky break. She's just spectacular. My daughter Taylor, who is a voice artist and a singer and an audiobook narrator and an actress. My family is pretty much, we're pretty tunnel vision on acting. We've got a lot of actors in our family. My sister had been an actress also and an improviser, and then became a writer-producer for Friends, among other shows. So, but nothing important in my life, but a lot of significant turns for me that were very helpful.
Jim, is it luck, though? Or is it hard work with a little bit of luck? We talk to a lot of people on this show and they say, oh, it's just lucky. But everyone we talk to on this show have had, amazing careers just like yours. And I after talking to all these people, I think, is it luck or is it just gritted hard work?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I believe in luck to a certain degree. I mean, there is a certain random effect that can happen in your favor or to your disfavor, which would be bad luck. But yeah, you're right. Being prepared, being willing to work hard, having a good idea of what your goal is, all those things I think are very helpful. So maybe and are more potent. Luck is something you can't control by definition. You can control how dedicated you are. You can control how dogged you are about things. So.
Well, luck will get you into the right place at the right time. But if you didn't have the talent and you were in the right place at the right time without the talent, it wouldn't have happened. Do you know what I mean? I think because a lot of people probably have had the breaks that you've had, but they probably didn't have the skill or the dedication to the work. I wonder. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, possibly.
So
yeah, possibly, yeah.
Going back to your mum, though, that was on Happy Days, what was it like watching her perform growing up, and what did that mean to you, and what did you learn from her?
Well, it's interesting. I think most children of actors go through a kind of an orientation period where they have to figure out, oh, okay, that's my mum, but she's being someone else. Okay. Is my mom a big star because she's on TV? Not really. There was a time, of course, when she became a big star. But, a lot of times it's just, I grew up in a town that was full of children of working actors because there were lots of working actors. Not nearly as many as today, but in this town, in the San Fernando Valley, there were just lots and lots of families, and one or another of the breadwinners would be someone who worked in the business in some way, many of them actors. So I think a lot of kids go through this thing of well, what does it all mean? I mean, because so much of the rest of the world looks at being an actor as like, oh, well, you are either not in show business or you're a movie star, and there's no in between. It's like you're either the Bat Boy or Babe Ruth. Not a good comparison, but. So I think everybody has to sort out for themselves. And I was confused, too, because my mother, I could wrap my wits around the fact that my mother was a working actress for a certain amount of time. And then she got in this show, and it really did start to take off after a couple of years. It was a slow takeoff, but then she became quite famous. And the show was quite famous. There were 3 channels. So, there were a lot of limited possibilities for people to watch stuff. And I got a little confused because it's like, wow, I got confused from the point of view of, is this what I want to do? Do I want to be an actor? Do I want to be a famous person? There was advantages to that. Obviously, I was attracted to the praise and admiration. I was attracted to the opportunities, the travel, meeting other famous people. That was all really cool. But for me, I felt it made me a little queasy too, because is that what you really want to do? Because I'd also had the experience of thinking I wanted to be an artist of some kind, a cartoonist or a painter. And I felt like, well, I understand the point of that. That's to give people an experience. And I had to sort of work out for myself, well, what is it about being an actor that's an honorable thing? Why would you dedicate your life to it? Your life. Is it because you want to walk the red carpet and say clever things? That doesn't seem like enough. So I eventually worked out that what I'm trying to do and anybody would have to work this out for themselves, I know what effect I want to create on audiences. I want to create the kind of effect, optimally, and keep working towards creating the kind of effect that the great performers that I've enjoyed have had on me. I've had some amazing experiences watching actors that just electrified me. That's what I want to do for other people to the degree that I can do it.
That's really beautifully put.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No ego. That's great. That's what it is. And I think a lot of people that I work with, a lot of actors that I work with, they're sort of the same. The red carpet, because I think a lot of actors are introverts, really. And, when you're on stage or you're performing, that's when you can put yourself to one side and be a character and break out of your introverted nature. But the moment you go, oh, yeah, well, you've got an awards show to go to, or you've got this to go to, or you've got a meet and greet, you blah, 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 and the actors are like, oh, okay. Because it's kind of like they then have to be themselves, so they can't be a character anymore,
Yeah, and it's a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of big stars won't do it. They're like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
If you pay me more, maybe.
What is your advice on networking, and why is it so important to do so?
Oh, well, I mean, it's a people business. The arts at this level, TV, film, it's a group activity. So you want to get to know people. You want them to know you. Optimally, you want people to think of you and think with accuracy of what your advantages are, what your value is, and think of you at the right time when they're looking for someone like you.
Yeah.
So what I've discovered is that you really have to remind people all the time what you can do, what are you available, what it is you do, what you do now. Maybe they know what you did 10 years ago. Maybe they don't know what you do right now, what you're capable of. Hopefully you're getting better. And people know other people, so even if someone knows you and you've gotten through to one other person, maybe they will recommend you. That's the idea. It's a very social art form, and to the degree that you can network in a legit way, in an authentic way, not by selling something that you can't deliver, not by overselling yourself in any way or underselling yourself, but by just meeting people, reaching out, and what I found to be the most effective is reaching out with a kind of an attitude of not, what can I get from you? What can you give me? Which gives us all creeps. But what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I be of value to you and service to you? Can I help you with anything? And that people respond to generally pretty well.
Yeah.
And that's much more valuable. Then they come to know you as a helpful person and a person that can do various things. And we all want to reward, I think, people that have helped us. We want to pay it back. It's not an obligation so much as just a courtesy.
What do we, us voice artists, help people with? I always wonder about, like, if we're all stranded on a desert island, right? And, Rach has got this skill set. I've got a person who can build the fort. I've got someone who can forage for food. And then there's me. I was like, well, if you need, like, a voiceover for anything, I can help out. It's one of those jobs where it's quite challenging. Like, for people starting out, like, how would they come across with that attitude of, what can I do for you? How do you do that?
Good question. And that's the question you kind of have to ask yourself. And there are answers. The more you know about the person you're trying to connect with, the more you'll know what they need. And you can ask them, and you can observe them. And you can offer in any case. Even without knowing very much.
Yeah.
But it has to do with, the thing we hate about people that cold call us and telemarketers and these other things is that people have no concept who we are, and yet they want to take up our time to solve a problem maybe that we have never had, or a service that we have no interest in. And that anybody that knows us would know that,
Yeah.
They don't know and take the time to know us. And they have no time for us, basically. The opposite is much more successful. Find out, who is this person? What are they like? We have, one of the advantages that I know people use as a technique and is very good is to go on social media. What are people? If you're trying to meet a producer or a writer or a creative person, what are they interested in? You can see a pretty good trail. They leave a pretty wide footprint of. It could be as mundane as that. This is how we meet people. This is how we get to know people. We get to know them through their friendliness, through their charity, through their empathy, not through, hey, I'm a voiceover guy. What can you do for me?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. We know that never works. But as I said, like, it's one of those things. it's okay for you to say this because you've built a very strong and broad network. So you can offer your services. Well, I think with people starting out, they don't have that network and they might get an opportunity to meet someone.
You start from wherever you are. Like when I started in New York, I wasn't very clever about all this stuff. I knew that I would have to communicate with people a lot. I knew I would have to kind of keep name out there. I knew that I would have to just collect the addresses and names of as many people as I could. I at least was savvy enough to recognize this, right? And then I was like, I asked myself the question, what do all these people need? And for me, my answer that I came up with that was very workable was that, and most artists have this, people do appreciate entertainment. They do need a little entertainment. So when I do stuff on social media now, it's a reflection of that viewpoint. I do stuff that I don't expect any money from. I'm not getting any money from. I spend my own money to do it, my own time. My daughter and I, we create these things for Instagram and TikTok. We spend a significant amount of time every week doing it. It's free. People can have it. If they have a chuckle, they have a laugh, we respond. I say, hello, thanks for your nice comment. We have this interchange. That is me giving something that people obviously need a little bit because they like it.
Yeah.
So that is another thing. I mean, maybe they don't need it like they need a blood transfusion, but they need it like they need a moment in the day that is not full of bad news.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I didn't know we had no social media, but I would draw a cartoon to amuse people, and I would put it in an envelope, and I would send it to them every week. I would send out hundreds and hundreds of pieces of paper on my dime. And then people would receive, if they'd met me, here's that guy again. This one's funny. The other one's funny. They're funny.
Yeah.
It's a free thing. It's something that is like, hey, I'm just trying to give you a smile. And that is a way anybody can do that today with social media. Create something that'll give people a smile, make them feel better, give them some information that they want.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing with your podcast. It's just a nice way. And then people get to know you. Oh, they're those nice people with the podcast. That was very helpful.
Well, I appreciate you after reaching out because it's always cold calling a bunch of actors. You're just like, there's a snowball's chance in hell that this person's going to reply. And thank goodness you did. I really appreciate you being on the show today. It was very kind of you.
Yeah, no problem. I love to talk to people and I love to kind of spread a message of of friendliness. And I like to let people know when I'm on a show, and I'm on Landman, which is on Paramount Plus, this big streaming show. It's like a massive hit, and I haven't been on a lot of massive hits before, so this is like really pretty exciting for me. Get to work with Oscar-winning performers, and it's a rare opportunity, and so I want to encourage people to watch the show and let me know if I'm doing a good job or not.
Well, it looks like it because I saw a little snippet though, and you were with Billy Bob Thornton and Demi Moore. I was like, holy smokes! So I've got to check the show out. So there's your plug.
There we go. And I will check it out. I promise.
Yes, it looks really good.
Yeah,
so
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Just wrapping up with the whole Ron Howard thing, you actually played Ron in Family Guy. What was his reaction to that?
Right. Well, I did. I've done Ron's voice a few times for various things, and I dare say I spent enough time listening to him to accomplish a pretty good impression. But I looked it over because Family Guy is a kind of a edgy show, right? And I don't consume a lot of adult cartoons as an audience member. I've been in a few, but in the case of when it's a celebrity voice, and I've done them a lot for different things, I'm always careful that I get to see the script ahead of time, because if it was something disparaging to Ron, or if I ever get something that's kind of snarky about someone I know, I don't need to do this job. That's okay. I'm going to pass on this one because I'll run into him someday. I did his voice one time. I've told this story before, but one time I got hired to do Ron Howard. They were looking for Ron Howard voice. I got in there, and it was a whole description. He was narrating a description of how Imagine Entertainment got started. And Brian Grazer and I started up. And he's the producer, and he would look for great properties, and I would direct. And I'm reading it over, and I'm like, what's this for? And they said, oh, it's for this award ceremony. I said, okay, is he going to be there? And they went, oh yeah, he's getting the award. I'm like, why am I narrating?
Yeah.
Very strange.
Shouldn't Ron be narrating this? And they went, well, I forget what they said, but it's like, I went, all right, you're paying me $1,500, I'll do it. And then a couple months later, I did run into Ron at a party at my mom's house. And I said, hey, Ron, not for nothing, but was this awards ceremony? Did you hear this? And he said, oh, that was you? Yeah, I wondered. What? Yeah, I thought maybe I recorded it when I had a cold. So...
Oh, that's hilarious.
You must have a lot of confidence to be a stand-up comedian and impressionist. You're even on America's Got Talent. What advice would you give to voiceover actors trying to challenge themselves to be more confident when performing?
Well, yeah, I don't think of myself as a stand-up comedian, but a lot of what I do has elements of stand-up comedy. I do a one-man show. I control the environment. I invite people. It's a theatrical experience rather than a comedy club. I'm not really comfortable in comedy clubs. It's a very adversarial environment, and I think it's very good for people that want to be stand-up comics. I mean, it's essential. I don't want to be a stand-up comic. I really don't. I can say that with confidence. That's a very particular craft and a very particular activity. No, but I like the theatrical side of it. I like doing a one-man show. I like having things that don't depend on set up, joke. I'm like, all right, sometimes I just want to tell a story. Sometimes I want to sing a song. Sometimes what I do is funny. Sometimes what I do is tender. I want to have that ability to change back and forth. But for people that are looking to expand, people have said things like, do something that scares you. I don't agree with that. I think it's okay to get involved in something that scares you if it's actually in the direction of what you're trying to do. If you're wanted to be an Olympic ski jumper, long distance ski jumper, you would need to at some point get on some skis, no matter how scared you were, and take the next step. So for you and for people doing this kind of career, you have to kind of figure out, what direction am I going in? Do I want to be? Where do I see myself? Whose job would I love to have? Whose lifestyle would I love to have? And then see if you can break that down into, well, what would be my next step to doing that? And in a lot of cases, it's presenting one's skills, making, and it's become a kind of a almost a ritual to make a demo. Okay, what is a demo? A demo is a little performance of some kind. A particular box, whatever. It's an artistic creation. And so you may, or you do something live, or you do something live and you do something recorded, and you want to reach a lot of people, as many people as you can stand, with some aspect of your skill set and your aesthetic, I would try not necessarily to copy other people, but to figure out what is it that you really enjoy, want to say, want to do, and figure out a way to put that out to other people. Certainly, a percentage of those people will say, "This sucks! I can't believe you did that. That was terrible." But there will be people that go, "Oh, that was amazing. I really liked that." And that's your audience, obviously. And so then you got to get in the habit of always just putting stuff out, and the discipline of putting stuff out. It's like a person in sports who continues to go out onto the pitch, and continues to get out there and pick themselves up and present themselves again. And you learn from your own performances. Stand-up comics do this. They do this. They get up in front of an audience. They tell certain jokes. 3 out of 5 jokes die and aren't any good. Well, they just learned something. They don't need to tell those 3 jokes anymore. Now they got 2 jokes that work pretty good. So they try another 10 jokes. 3 of those jokes work. Now they got 5 jokes. So it's a testing and an evaluation. But you have to be willing to, especially in performance, you got to be willing to come in contact with an audience.
So, because you've had such an extensive career, what do you want to do next? I mean, you've been in Disney. I think that's pretty high on any voice actor's wish list to be a part of, because I know you do the Genie's voice, so after the late Robin Williams, which is amazing, by the way. But what would you like to do?
Thank you.
I've got a screenplay that I'm working on that, the screenplay's done, but we're raising money for a film that will star me. That's about an impressionist. It's a thriller, comedy thriller.
Huh.
And I'm working with some producers right now to get that on.
Wow.
Oh, that sounds so exciting.
That'll be a must watch, I think. That'll be amazing.
Sign me up. I'm happy to watch that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. And then I want to be on season 3 of Landman, I'll tell you that, when that rolls around.
Well, we're putting it out. putting it out there into the universe. So fingers and toes for that one. So what's a performer that you're in absolute awe of as a voice actor?
As a voice actor? That's a good question. There's so many. Well, my friend Nancy Cartwright of The Simpsons is arguably the greatest voiceover career in history. I'm certainly in awe of her, and all the people on that show have just scaled the heights. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Should be so interesting to pick inside her brain, to see her process and everything. I'm a massive fan as well, so yeah, we're definitely in the same boat there.
100%. Do you know, it was funny? I was a friend of mine. I was watching an episode of The Simpsons, and it was one where Mo Sislak was transporting a whale, and the feds caught him. and it wasn't. The scene was what I loved about the scene was the sound of the whale, right? Because it was just such a stupid comedic sound, and I'm like it was just like that. It was just such a dumb sound, but it just was so comedically funny. It was so good, and I was like, wow.
Get him back to SeaWorld.
No, because he goes, oh, Jesus, the feds. And he's walking, you got Muller and Skolder and Mully, or whatever it is, the X-Files, FBI. And it was the sound of the whale. Like when you get off this call, Jim, you got to, because it is like, as a voice actor, you go, it was a pretty piss weak sound that was made. And I reckon in the studio they would have gone, can you make the sound of a whale? And someone's just, Dan Kesselneller or whatever has just gone, they've gone, that's really funny, we'll use that. And it's like, because nobody really knows what a whale sort of sounds like, and nobody could really sort of recreate that, authentically. But in a show like that, the voices have so much fun that sort of half-assed approach at that sound was just pinnacle comedy. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit off, but I love that. I thought that was great. That's what I love about the actors in that show is sometimes it feels like the first take. It feels like the first take they loved it and they stuck with it rather than workshopping the comedy over and over again,
Well, I think at this point, it probably is more often than not, it is the first take. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. They definitely know the ropes.
I hope you don't feel like I'm doing the monkey dance thing, but can you showcase some of the voices that you do?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you mentioned the Robin Williams Blue Genie. I've been honored to do Robin Williams for a while for the Disney people. Disney, it's a big building in Burbank. It's right next to a cemetery. It's in between a cemetery and a hospital. Just a coincidence. Well, I do the voice of Patrick Stewart. I've done him recently for Seth MacFarlane. So that's fun to do that again. It's wonderful to portray him. I did President George W. Bush. I don't know if you heard of him down in where you live, but he was president of all the United States together.
So, Jim, thank you so much for your time today. And we are going to do another show, aren't we, Rach? Because we've got a lot still to talk about. But thank you for your time today.
You're welcome. I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you for listening to This Is My Voice, the podcast about all things voice performance with the world's best voice artists. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a review and don't forget to subscribe. This episode has been brought to you by the Australian Radio School and delivered to your ears by the Ozcast Network.